what to do. Oh, know you got to get your hustle on. So I pray. You know, when you got a song in you, you got to get the song out. Welcome back, y'all. It is your girl, Abiola Akani. I am the founder of the EOL Yoga and Embodiment School, as well as a yoga teacher, trainer, and a coach. I support high-performing and high-achieving career women, professionals, service providers, and other coaches with recovery, nervous system regulation, and embodied leadership to be able to receive more and perform less. You're joining me for my 30-day Sensual Yoga challenge to help you slow down and get in your body. So today we're going to be doing a sensual bedtime yoga flow to help you sleep. And I invite you to grab 2 blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, that's fine. You can just grab 2 soup cans, 2 shoe boxes, or 2 large books. We're going to be utilizing that because we will be fairly low to the ground, but we're going to be doing more of a mandala. And the mandala is basically where you make a 360-degree circle or turn on your mat. So this will our blocks will help us with maneuvering through that circle. I will say we will be low to the ground on the knees quite a bit, so if you have sensitive knees, you can grab a blanket or something to pad your knees. And then lastly, before we get started, make sure you hit the link in my bio to join my free masterclass on how to become a pampered, high-value woman. And the reason why that's so important is because if you are a high-achieving or high-performing career woman, one of the things that I know you probably really struggle with is burnout and over-giving constantly, because there's this belief that if I don't really show up for everyone else, then my needs are not going to be taken care of, or I'm going to lose something, right? So we want to begin to pattern interrupt that type of behavior and create a behavioral change by specifically shifting your identity. More specifically, beginning to align your identity as that of a high-value woman who is seen, served, and supported at a higher level. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this particular masterclass. It's on July 23rd, and once again, it's completely free. Click the link in my bio to make sure you join us. And once you do that, I'll see you right back here on the mat. All right, y'all, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and start it in a child's pose. You can come into a narrow child's pose with the knees closed, belly and chest resting if you have sensitive hips, or if the hips are really tight, or if you have a larger belly, a larger chest. Open those knees wide, let the belly and the chest fall through, collapsing your forearms onto the earth and dropping your third eye to the mat. You can also extend the arms. No straining here. I tend to see students fighting in their child's pose, fighting to get long somewhere, fighting to get long in your arms, fighting to really keep the posture. Go ahead and just relax the elbows. Drop the elbows down. Let the head and neck relax to the earth. I'm going to keep my head elevated so as to not plug my mic, but I invite you to let the head descend to the earth. Relax the elbows. Relax the shoulders down. So pack the shoulders away from the ears. And we'll start with some breathing. The main thing, if you struggle with, falling asleep or going to sleep at night, it's usually because the body is still in states of fight or flight. So your nervous system is in states of hypo or hyper arousal still, more specifically hypo arousal. So what we want to do to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, turn on your vagal nerve so that you can move into a more of a parasympathetic state, is you really want to focus on your breathing. So anytime right before you're going to bed is when you want to spend the most time on doing breath work or focusing on your breathing 2, activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest center, which is what we're going to start with. So we're going to settle here and just take a moment to scan the body. What I mean by scanning, you're just noticing what you're feeling. You're noticing the sensations in the physical body first. So just noticing any tender spots in the physical body. Acknowledging them. And then from there, let's move towards your breath, starting with a fluid inhale in through the nostrils. Exhale out of the mouth, HA. Two more of those, fluid inhale in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, HA. One more of those, fluid inhale. Audible exhale out of the mouth, HA. This time, fluid inhale through the nostrils for the count of 3. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils as if you're fogging a window for 3. 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhalation out of the nostrils for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nostrils for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils for 3, 2, 1. And settling here now that you've created some space in the body through the breath. Just ruminating on that space that you've created. Enjoying it, savoring it. And then inhale, start to roll the hips left and right, swaying the hips, the head and the neck, and torso as you slowly make your way up into a tabletop. Hands and knees, this is the part where I invite you to pad the knees if they are sensitive. And settling here for a breath. Inhale, tailbones peaks up, head and neck comes high. Exhale, push the earth away, find a cat pose, extend, and lengthen the space through the vertebra and the back of the neck. Inhale, cow pose. Tilt the tailbone towards the heavens, tilt the head up towards the heavens, pack the shoulders down. Exhale, push the earth away, curl the tailbone in. Push the earth away and expand the space in between the shoulder blades and the back of the neck and heart. Inhale once again, cat pose, tilt the tailbone high, tilt the head up to the heavens and expose and open the throat. Dropping the belly down towards the earth. Exhale, push the earth away as you pack the shoulders down, find your cat, Extend the space between the vertebrae as you spike the spine up towards the heavens. Invite the head and chin towards the groin. Inhale, neutralize the spine. Exhale, settle in here. Now we're going to find kind of that same motion, but instead of going up and down, we're going to go side to side, almost like you're wagging your tail. Tilt your tailbone over to the right. Extend your head and neck over towards the right. Inhale to center. Exhale. Wag your tail towards the opposite side. Head and neck follows, extending the head and neck towards the left. Inhale, center. Exhale. Find that lateral side bend towards the left through the head and the neck and the tailbone. Inhale to center. Exhale. Wag the tail to the left. Find that lateral side bend through the head and the neck. On the opposite side, tilting the head towards the left, pack the right shoulder down so you can stretch out the sides of the necks. One more on each side. Wag the tail towards the right, head and neck tilts towards the right, pack the left shoulder down, feel that stretch on the left side of the neck. Inhale to center, exhale opposite side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, settle. Inhale, extend the left leg straight back. And then exhale, gently step it on the outside of the left hand. Now, if you need support with that, you can keep the blocks underneath the hands so that you're bringing the earth to you. Inhale here, shift the hips forward. And then exhale, extend your tailbone back as you lengthen the left leg, getting into the hamstrings. Inhale, shift the hips forward, heart comes forward. Once again, you can bring your blocks higher if you're feeling really tight in the hips, or lower if you want to deepen into the mobility through the hips. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, extend the tailbone back, lengthen out the left leg, find your half split. Two more of those. Inhale, extend the hips forward. We're just pulping through the hips. Exhale, half Hanumanasana, half split, lengthen out that left leg, keeping the spine long. One more. Inhale, bend the knee, hips come forward. Exhale, lengthen and extend the tailbone back, lengthen out the left knee. Inhale here, just keep the leg bent, find that bent knee. And then kickstand your right shin straight back. Now don't take it out just halfway. Kickstand it all the way back and in, so it's creating a 90-degree angle. Inhale, windmill the arms up and around. Find this modified warrior two. Right hand comes to the womb, left hand comes to the sacrum, and feel yourself pull your tailbone down so you're actively stretching the front of your hips and psoas. So those hip flexors are nice, getting a nice lengthening stretch. Arms extend out to the left and the right, eye gaze, looking over your left hand. Inhale here, exhale, shift the hips forward. And slowly float your way out. Option to keep the hands extended, or you can bring the left hand to the knee, right hand to the hip. Inhale, shifting forward. So now we're just getting more into stretching those hip flexors. Exhale, come out. Inhale, shift forward. This is where you really want to pad that knee if you have sensitive knees. Exhale, float out. See if you can keep the pelvis neutral here, so you're continuing to pull the tailbone down, just like we did with the placement of the hands. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, hands come high, and cactus the arms, open up the chest. Slowly drape the hands all the way behind you, interlace them into a fist. Extend the fist behind you, shine the heart up, hold here. Notice if this left knee is gliding in. Push the left knee out and behind you to open up through the inner thighs. Exhale here. One more breath. Inhale, slowly draw the chin to the chest, and then exhale, extend those arms long. Inhale here, exhale, slowly float your right hand out to the right, on the outside of the right knee, left hand comes high. Now from here, pivot your left heel out so it's parallel to the front of your mat. And extend this left leg long. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Extend the left arm up and over, finding a nice side body stretch. One more breath here. Exhale. Inhale, lift the left hand up to the ceiling, to the heavens, and then slowly dorsiflex the left foot as you lift it high, turning on that outer left glute. Notice if you're extending your tailbone back. See if you can push the earth away with your right hand. Pack this right shoulder down, find torque through your right shoulder so you're locking it into its socket, and then actively invite your hips forward as this left hand comes high. Dorsiflex the left foot like there's a wall there. The more engaged the body, the lighter it becomes. Inhale here, exhale, lower the left foot. Inhale, left arm extends up and over the head, and then exhale, lower it down. Now from here, kickstand or pivot your right shin back in towards you, right? And then lower your left knee. Inhale, cow pose. Extend and tilt the tailbone to the heavens. Head and neck come high. Exhale, push the earth away, chin towards the chest. Find a cat. Inhale, tilt the tailbone high. Head and neck follow, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Push the earth away, pull the tailbone in, expand the space in between the shoulder blades. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Curl the tailbone in and under, chin towards the chest, spike the spine up towards the heavens. Fluid inhale here, exhale. Neutral, tabletop spine. This time, wag your tail to the left, head and neck follow. Pack this right shoulder down so you actively get a stretch on the right side of the neck. Inhale to center, exhale. Lateral side bend to the opposite side. Tailbone tilting to the opposite side. Head and neck following. Inhale sways you to center. Exhale, sway the hips and the head to the opposite side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, sway the hips to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, sway the hips to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, one more on each side. Inhale brings you back. Exhale, settle. Inhale, extend the right leg back behind you. And then exhale, step the right foot on the outside of the right hand. Option to use those two blocks once again. Heel toe the right foot back to center. Holding here, you can glide your hands onto your blocks. Get them from the front of the mat. Inhale, lizard lunge, shift forward, hips come forward, heart stays elevated. Exhale, half Hanumanasana, half split, lengthen out the right knee. Finding your half split, notice if you're concave through the spine. See if you can find that same cow pose that we did. That cow pose, so you're extending your tailbone back. Notice how my heart slightly lifts. You're gonna feel a lot more active in that hamstring stretch. If you find those small adjustments through your tailbone, it also engages the belly. Inhale, shift forward. You can have the option to tuck that back left toe. That's just gonna create a little bit more stability, right? So you can control the movement. Exhale, lengthen out the right leg, half split. Heart comes forward, tailbone extends back. Inhale, bending the knee. Exhale, half split. So notice here, I'm going to give you full and absolute permission to move at your own pace here. You can kind of pulp through this based on whatever speed helps you stay embodied. Inhale, shifting forward if you'd like, or staying longer in half split, half Hanumanasana. Exhale, extending back, or staying forward in lizard if you want to get more into the front of the hip. 2 more rounds of breath, moving at your own pace here. On the next inhalation, you're gonna bend the front knee, right? Kickstand the left shin in and back behind you, not halfway. Kickstand it all the way back, 90-degree angle through that leg. And then inhale, windmill your left arm up, around, and out. So you're now in a modified warrior two. Your right toes are facing towards the right, to the back of the mat, and the arms are extended out to the left and the right. Left hand's gonna come to the womb, right hand to the sacrum. And same thing, pull your tailbone down. Why are you doing this? If you have a hyperextension through your tailbone, this is gonna weaken your core and shorten the front of the hip. So if you constantly feel like your low back is bothering you and your front of your hips are always tight, you might have some hyperextension through your tailbone. So you're training your body to pull the tailbone down. So you're actively stretching the front of the hips. You're keeping the pelvis neutral and you're keeping your core engaged. Extend the arms here, inhale. Exhale, maybe shifting forward towards the right to get into the psoas. You're gonna feel that stretch there if it's quite tight for you. Option to keep the hands extended. Exhale, come back to center, or left hand to the hip, right hand to the knee. Inhale. You're gonna shift and bend into that right knee, more so to get into the hip flexors. Exhale, guides you out. 2 to 3 more of those. See if you can keep the heart lifted in forward. Notice if that knee is knocking in. Turn on this back right glute and push the knee into your outer right hand. All right, so you're actively strengthening your adductor muscles, your inner thighs. One more, inhale, shifts you forward. Exhale, floats you out. Feel yourself push that right foot into the earth to turn this back right glute on. Inhale, shifts you to the right. Exhale, floats you out. Inhale, hands extend. Exhale, hands come high. Inhale here, exhale. Cactus the arms, open up the chest. Then drape the hands all the way back behind you. Maybe gliding them together in a fist if that feels available, or you can grab a sock and hold on to that instead, or opposite elbows. Extend the fist behind you, shine the heart up towards the heavens. Stretching the front of the pecs, shoulder girdle in the neck, rolling those shoulders back. Now for balance, crush the mat with your right foot, turn that right glute on, feel the belly engage, and actively push this right knee back. One more breath. Inhale, chin to the chest. Exhale, arms extend wide. Inhale here. Exhale, lower your left hand down to the earth. Keep that the left side of the belly, the obliques engaged. Right hand extends, and then you're going to pivot your right heel out. So the outside of your foot is now parallel to the back of the mat, and this right leg is now long. Inhale here. Find torque in this left shoulder by spinning it into its socket and pack this left shoulder down. So this arm is nice and secure. And then laterally or rotate through your side body. Right hand comes high, deep inhale here. Exhale, extend the right arm up and over the head. Inhale here. Exhale, hand comes high, lift the right hand up. Inhale, lift your right foot up. Dorsiflex this right foot like there's a wall there. Continue to drive your hips forward and turn this back glute on. The best way to do that is to flex your right foot. Continue to hold here for balance for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower the right foot. Inhale, extend the right arm up and over. Exhale, rotate it all the way down. Inhale, kickstand the left shin in and straight back behind you. Might roll the fabric a little bit so you can lift that knee if you need to. And then exhale, right knee comes back to the mat. Child's pose, hips to the heels, arms extend. Getting nice and long through the back. Inhale, child's pose with a lateral side bend. So walk the hands over to the left, stack the right palm on top of the left, breathing into the right side body. 2 more breaths here. Final breath. Inhale, hands come to center, take them to the right, so find the lateral bend towards the right. Left hand comes on top of its sibling, and then peek the head through the window of the forearms as you descend the head and neck down, lengthening through the left side body. Inhale brings you back to center. Exhale, Anahata Puppy Dog pose. Shift the hips up so the hips are stacked right over the knees. So you're coming into a tabletop, and then just walk your hands forward. Keep the hips stacked over the knees. And then from here, invite the head through the window of the forearms. Heart towards the window of the forearms. Third eye might come to the earth. See if you can keep the elbows lifted. If not, you can drop the elbows down. Right, we want to just open up through the serratus muscles underneath the armpits, through the lats. Give the shoulders a nice opening stretch, especially if you sit at a desk. We're gonna be here for 3 fluid breaths. Now, if this is really painful, you have the option to bring one of your blocks underneath your head, resting here, and just bringing the earth to you to support this descent so gravity isn't pushing or bearing down on your joints as much. 2 more rounds of breath here. Make sure your hips are stacked over your knees so you're not in a child's pose right now. Final breath. Inhale, walk the hands in. As you slowly elevate the head, coming back into a tabletop, and then make your way onto your back. Extend the legs long, keeping the knees bent. Extend the hands forward, and then slowly make your way back, vertebra by vertebra. As soon as the back of the heart kisses the mat, you're gonna hug those knees into the chest. And rocking left and right. We'll start in a half happy baby, so extend the left leg long and just hug your right knee in, gliding it out to the right to bypass the rib cage, and just coming into a half happy baby, maybe clasping behind the thigh or grabbing the ankles or the insides or outsides of the feet if you can reach. If not, you can always bind a rope around your foot and hold there just to continue to mobilize these hips a little bit before bed so the muscles can completely relax. Use your breath. Remember to activate that parasympathetic state. Keep this left leg long so you're also simultaneously stretching and mobilizing the front of your left hip. Inhale. Bring it to center, knee to center. Exhale, extend. Inhale. Glide the left knee in. Exhale, extend it out to the left. Inhale, half happy baby, clasping behind the thigh, grabbing the ankles or the inside or outside of the foot if that feels available. If you have trouble reaching the foot, bind a strap or tie around the left foot and hold there. Keep this right leg extended so you're actively stretching the front of your right hip flexor. Holding here for a few rounds of breath to mobilize the opposite side. Inhale here. Exhale, go on and release. We'll hug both knees back to center. And find a supine twist. Go ahead and float both knees over towards the right, stacking the left on top of the right. Arms extend out wide like a T. Option to bring the right hand on the outside of the left knee, just releasing any pressure through the low back. Option to extend the eye gaze up to the heavens or out towards the left. Palm. If you tend to overthink a lot before you're going to bed, this is a really great practice just to help diffuse some of those thoughts. Allowing your body to come to a state of resolve within the most pressing ones from a parasympathetic state. So from a state of your rest and digest center, where you feel safer in the body. Inhale, hug the knees to center. And then exhale, take it to the opposite side. Find supine on the opposite side, knees float to the left, arms out like a T, maybe left arm grabbing the outside of the right knee. Eye gaze looking at the opposite palm. Really allowing the body to release into the earth. So notice where you're trying to hold the body up still, where the muscles are still holding a lot of tension. And really feel the body get heavy. Like feel the shoulders, okay, I can relax, I'm held by the earth. I can stop holding in the hips. I can stop like squeezing and clenching my booty cheeks. Just like notice where you hold and let the body release. Inhale, hug those knees in. And just rocking left and right. And then exhale, happy baby. You can clasp behind the knees, open them nice and wide. You can grab the ankles, the inside to outsides of the feet. You can bind a strap across the feet as well if you're having trouble reaching the feet. And then you can rock left and right, or you can stay stagnant. Option to lengthen out one leg, getting into those hamstrings a little bit more. Option to switch it to the opposite side. This left hamstring for me is very tight today. So I'm not even gonna try to lock out my knee. And then you can try to do both. And then when you're ready, extend the feet up to the heavens. Hands up to the heavens, no striving. So let the knees and the elbows be soggy and the head and neck hang heavy. Inhale here. Exhale, bend one knee at a time as you float the feet back to the earth and invite the hands to meet you for your final resting posture, Shavasana. This is the most important pose. We're gonna drop back into deep breathing. You have the option to keep the knees bent if this supports the low back, or extend the legs long if that feels more supportive for you. Come back to your breath. We're gonna do that 3 count peak breath, inhaling for 3, exhaling for 3 out of the nostrils, moving into Ujjayi. Inhale for 1 through the nostrils, for 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils for 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils for 3. 2. 1. Inhale through the nostrils for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils for 3, 2, 1. Continue to move through that breath practice on your own. And after you get up and make your way to your bed, take that same breath practice to bed with you. And let that breath pattern guide you and lull you into sleep. A deep sleep as you remove the focus away from the thoughts and begin to diffuse intrusive and excessive thoughts by focusing on your breath. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to leave you here. But I invite you to spend about at least 7 more minutes on your mat. You've done your best. Now leave the rest. Namaste.
It gave me the life that I came to live, gave me the song that I came to give. Pressure's on me, but the seed is strong. I can't make it on my own. The summer came around and the flowers bloomed. He became the sun, I became the moon. Precious gifts that we both received, but to this we make believe.